I'm really honored to be here. Um, as I understand my role, I was to lead the Q&A for this particular presentation by Colin Perot, and I just want to say, having looked at this presentation again, it really informed me how thorough he was with his presentation, and I thought it was a very politicized presentation as well. And he was really being clear that the FBI always has an agenda when they come knocking on your door. Unfortunately, when I was a child of 17, they took the opportunity to come knocking on my mother's door. And I didn't follow the advice that Colin put forward about not talking to them. I was a kid that made a very dumb mistake because they wanted to know some things about the chairman. And I thought being flippant with them would be a smart thing to do, but it's not, as Colin pointed out. The best thing to do is silence. I don't want to talk to you. So, yeah, I just want to open up the floor for the questions. I'm not a lawyer. However, I just taking some cues from Colin. I might be able to be helpful in answering some questions. I am the head of the Hands Off Uhuru Legal Defense Support Committee, which Colin is also a part of that Hands Off Uhuru subcommittee. So we work together very closely. He's hoping to gather some information that I think is going to be very helpful in defending our comrades against this attack.
I want to lead off with one question. Does this also apply to other police agencies? Because I remember one time the ATF, people from the ATF came knocking at my door. I had no idea what this was about. I didn't really answer them, but I talked to them more than I should have. And basically my answers were saying, I don't know what you're talking about. And what are you talking about? And so,
that's a good question, Lisa. I think that's one of the things that makes this presentation so important, because many of the things that Colin was saying about this is what you do when the FBI comes knocking, you handle the police the same way. The police are coming, they can lie to you. By the way, you can't lie to them if you don't expect consequences from that. So I think that it's really important to watch this presentation, to get as many other people to watch it as possible, because you're going to learn also in the same presentation, how do you handle the police come knocking on your door, because you don't have to talk to the local police either. Your posture should be the same. I don't want to talk to you. If they don't have a warrant in hand, like Colin said, that you actually can see and read, is no entry, no warrant, no entry, just like Colin said.
I would also like to iterate on that too, Brother Chimurenga, that this was just a phenomenal presentation. I mean, he was very thorough.
Yes.
You know, I really appreciate that because, you know, one of the things that he said that I want you to elaborate a little bit on is that, you know, can you actually take a picture or record the FBI or the police officers coming to your door? And, you know, the reason for that is, I want to say this, is that he said that they're there to trick you. And they, you know, I mean, their whole intention is all for their own agenda. I have seen police officers switch up and give, like, say, for instance, because the person didn't know who the arresting officer was, they put another officer in the police report that wasn't even at the scene. They also use other police officers to testify in court that was not present or don't have any information regarding to whatever crime that was supposed to have been done. So, what is this trickery? Let's try to, get through how the trap is set for people.
Well, that's a very good question. Can you photograph them? Can you video them? And the way I understand it, Colin put it forward that, yeah, you can video them, but what you can't do is interfere. So if you're right up 1 foot away, they're probably going to say you're interfering. And this is, you have to move out of the way for officer safety, other crazy stuff. But you should get, if they say move back, then you move back, but you continue to video. And I think, I mean, in this day and age, people have smartphones, and that's why video, it pops up all over the place about police brutality and attacks by the police. So yes, you can video them and you can take pictures of them. And I think we have to be very aggressive doing that. However, if they instruct you to move back, you just move back to a safe distance so you can continue the video.
Wow, I want to say, right now here in Louisiana, that the governor has a bill that we're rallying to support him to veto this bill. If he decide not to, we're going to do everything we can to rally against the election with the Black vote. And that this bill is that it says that police officers would get 25-foot zone of safety.
25 feet?
25 feet, right, 25 feet zone of safety. So talk about that. What does that mean? I know you're laughing, but I'm telling you.
Well, 25 feet is quite a distance.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
Well, 25 feet is quite a distance, and I'm sure that's what they're trying to accomplish, that to keep you as far away as possible. And then, of course, the video is going to be a lot clearer, particularly if you're doing it with a phone. Your video is going to be a lot clearer if you're closer to that subject. So I think it is something we have to oppose, because in a lot of ways, it's an attack on free speech. And that right is constantly under attack. And this is just another way to come through the back door and attack it. Well, we're not trying to attack free speech. We're just saying officer safety requires the people to be, we're not saying they can't video, they just have to be 25 feet back. But isn't that an attack on free speech? It is.
Absolutely.
I have the right to criticize them. I have the right to video them for evidence purposes, and to create a law that has a chilling effect on free speech. We definitely have to fight that.
Yeah, and because so goes Louisiana, so goes the world with that type of foolishness. Because what is 25 feet inside of my house? When my living room is only a 12 by 12.
Right. Well, you're making a great point, Ms. Brown. A great point.
I mean, but y'all laughing at me, but I'm serious.
Well, I think
people better know the truth.
Way that I know you're serious, and the way you're presenting it is sort of funny. But I think it's a really serious point that you're making, and I know you're on top of all of these things that happen in Louisiana. And I think this is a really important one, because the people who don't fight it one day may see a situation that they want a video. The police are beating somebody up, the police selling drugs, but now I got to get 25 feet back. Because when it goes to court, they're going to say, you know, yeah, I told them to get 25 feet back, but who's going to be there to measure the 25 feet?
That's right.
Because
Exactly.
they're gonna say you're not 25 feet back. You need to go back some more until you are 100 feet away. So I just think it's a really important thing to defeat on the front end. And if you know, I know you've been very effective in Louisiana, and I think it's definitely something to raise as a campaign.
I wanted to ask a question, and please, if anybody has any questions, if you're in the chat and stuff, please put them in the Q&A. And if you're panelists, you can either raise your hand or just ask the question and just jump in. But I wanted to ask, because I've been hearing things about some states trying to make it illegal for people to record the police. And I don't know if any states have done that. But if you did have a situation when a state did do that, and that might be, would that just be for the local police? Because we're talking about the FBI represents the federal. So I didn't know, are there any states where it's illegal, do you know, to record the police?
To my knowledge, is not illegal in any state.
Oh, okay.
And if it's to me, even if they tried to create a law like that, as I know you know that so-called federal law supersedes state law. So if you're using the Constitution, is say you got arrested, if you're using the Constitution as your defense, hey, I was exercising my right to free speech, then I mean, I think that those kind of laws can be defeated. I'm not going to say easily defeated, but because the bourgeoisie, the people who control colonial capitalism make the laws in their interest. That's what it is. They make the laws to function for them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a law presented to say you should be 50 feet away, 75 feet away. Why stop at 25? So I wouldn't be surprised to see, particularly if this thing survives and actually passes, I wouldn't be surprised to see other states try to attempt to do something similar or even go beyond the so-called 25 feet.
I'm told that we have about 5 more minutes left for this segment.
Make it shorter if we can.
I can comment. I just wanted to comment on, because the thing is that what they've said, and they may do that by making it illegal in some states, or they have tried, they've talked about it, that somehow videoing is a violation of privacy. So they're not saying that you don't have the right free speech or even right to do this, but you invade their privacy, and therefore, you know, people who you're videoing, you know, therefore can be somehow harmed by this invasion of privacy. So that's one argument that they have used. And the other thing, and I think that's really important. There was some other point that was made about the distance and whether or not you can come up and video them, you know, come at Chimurenga was saying something about the constitutionality, First Amendment rights, etc. Except if you're videoing them and then it is something that is inciting people who are around you, if you're doing things that's insightful, if you're doing things that's, I mean, they come up with all kinds of rationales for snatching away what's supposed to be a right. They will come up with all kinds of, and they will put you in jail, and they will get a white jury to convict you, and some Negroes on that jury too, because of what he was doing. He was up there in a way, the way he was videoing, he turned this way and that way, and it was inciting all the people to do stuff, et cetera, you know. So that's the kind of stuff that happens to us. But video it. And if you can, get your cousin to video too, and get everybody around to video the same thing. So put them in a more complicated situation, trying to frame you up.
I know we move in the agenda, but most importantly, like the brother Chimurenga said, is that they want to take it away altogether, and it's a real crucial infringement upon our First Amendment right So I just wanted to make that clear, and that, you know, we can't let these type of things happen. And they start this type of foolishness down here in the state of Louisiana, because we got a whole lot of these petty bourgeoisie people that just, sellouts that go for that kind of stuff. And they started here. It's ground zero for the Jim Crow. And then they move it across the country. So I just want everybody to be aware. I put 2 links in the chat, but
Good.
it's there. So
Good.
thank you.
Okay, good. And also, Chairman Omali Yeshitela had brought out, and maybe Brother Chimurenga, you might want to just conclude with this part because we have to move on. But he pointed out how Colin said secretly recording the FBI is a problem. So did you want to just close out with explaining more about that comment, and then we can move on in the next section?
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I assume he was talking about audio recording, not video recording. He may have been talking about video, but I assume he's talking about audio record. Matter of fact, you can't record someone in a conversation secretly, even if it's not the FBI. So, you might have disputes on your job and stuff like that, and say, okay, when I talk to my job, I'm going to record them, and they're not going to do that. And I'm going to do that, and then present the recording of what they said in a courtroom. That's not a wise thing to do, because they're going to say, well, first of all, he committed a crime because he was recording me without my permission. I didn't say he could record me. So I think it's like the chairman said, they kind of do what they want to do. So when even recording 10 feet away, the police can always say, hey, you're interfering with me, you're doing X, Y, and Z. And they are going to do that at some point. They are. So, yeah, we just have to, like the chairman said, tell your cousin, your brother, everybody the video. So.
Well, I need to know that, is that different for different states? Because here in Louisiana, we have the Sunshine Law, which give us the right to record a person long as we can state who it is that we're recording in secretly, as long as we have that person identity name, on the tape that we're recording. So is it different for different states, or is that something that people might want to research and find out what the laws for recording in different states are?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be wise to do that, because I've never heard of that being allowed, to record somebody secretly. So
it's called the Sunshine Law.
Yeah, they actually have a Sunshine Law in Florida, but the Sunshine Law in Florida supposed to apply to public officials having secret meetings and that kind of stuff without notifying the public. But none of it is really sunshine, because colonialism is right up front. It's not a secret. When they discuss this stuff in secret, it's just the details of what they're carrying out publicly. So, but thank you, Sister Belinda. That's really important.